Hello, this is Jeff Byers. Welcome back. This is ANA 258, and we are on Module 5, and we're going to be basically texturing and adding materials to your courtyard, the interior and exterior. So, just like we did with your first module, or second module, where we textured your room, you're going to be doing the exact same thing on a larger scale. So basically you're going to be using Module 4's BSP prototype that you created from your floor plan. So overview, Module 5, this is Module 5 Part 2 of a 4-part series. So you're going to be using this same BSP level. You're going to be using your courtyard that you started with in Module 4, and we'll continue Module 4, 5, 6, and 7. So in this module you're going to be basically adding materials. There's not much new to learn here except for cover. We're going to take you through that. I'm going to have a lecture series on that. That's going to be written out. You guys can read that, take some notes. But that's the newest thing. I took everything else out. I basically figured you know what you're doing now. And the materials, I do have some refresher videos you can watch from Module 2 when you did your room with adding materials and creating materials. So you'll have to create some of your own materials. You're going to have to go find Substance Painter materials. Those are the easiest ones to use. You can create from materials from scratch. You can watch that video where you can create things from scratch with just textures that you find on the internet. That's fine, but you will be texturing every single thing, all your BSPs, okay, inside and out, and you're going to light the inside of the rooms, okay. Alright, so basically again, you're going to be texturing the interior and exterior of your courtyard, following the style and theme of your mood boards and floor plan from Module 4. You'll be adding materials to your BSP's prototyped courtyard environment. You will also learn how to scale, move, and rotate materials. Now we've done that already in Module 2, so you should know how to do that. The student will texture the entire courtyard game level environment using Substance Painter materials or other textures you find that fits your style and theme from the mood boards. And of course you can create your own textures just as long as it fits your style and theme from the mood boards that you created in Module 4. Alright, so basically what I want you guys to do is follow the lessons. There are some new videos, but most of the videos are materials, adding materials, and I got those from our Module 2. You can look at those and refresh yourself with that. I do need you guys to create a material list. This time you're going to turn this in, the material list for your courtyard environment, interior and exterior materials that you're going to need to have. It's always good to make a list, that way you can kind of keep yourself focused on what you need to have. And then of course you're going to be adding those materials to your environment, and this is our lesson content lecture. It's really important that you guys read this and absorb as much as you can and take notes, because our quiz will be over this on Friday. So make sure you read that and you understand the different types of cover. And alright, so just make sure you're aware that the quiz that we have this week will be over cover. Alright, so you don't have to read this over again. This is all old stuff here, but as far as creating materials from scratch, you might want to read those or watch those. And the material list, again, we need 12 types of materials. You need to type that up in a Word document, and you're going to turn that Word document in for a grade. How do you find materials? I already got that up there. One thing we haven't talked about too much about, but it does cover it in this video series, is how to take a 2D texture and create a 3D material. Okay, So that's important that you watch that. If you haven't watched this series, it's really, really good, and it shows you how to do that. But you have to get to the point of getting the maps for us. So if you need to get, so if you find a photograph of a really cool texture that you could use, like say somebody photographed some carpet or ground or walls or whatever, brick walls or something like that, and you need to create maps like a roughness map. So basically your photograph is a color photograph, which would be your base color material. Then you have to have your roughness, your metallic map, and your normal map. Those are the four maps you need to have to actually create a material from scratch in Unreal. So you'll need to have a piece of software called bitmap to material, and that's free in the algorithmic substance website. So that comes free. So make sure you download that. It's I use it all the time. So bitmap to material 3 walkthrough tutorial takes you through how to use it. It's very, very powerful. And then of course the course assignment, I think we went over that already, that you're going to actually start texturing your environment, and we want everything to be completely textured. And so if you've forgotten a little bit how to add materials and how to get started, I would highly recommend that you need to watch that floor prep work for materials, because it takes you through how to unitize your UVs before you start adding materials. Now, basically, what that does is it's kind of like when you go into Maya and you lay out your UVs, and there's no seams. That's what you can do in Unreal. I'm going to show that to you really, really quickly. So, if you go, and here's my scene. Before you start texturing, you're going to want to do this. This is the prep work that I'm talking about, and if you blow through that video, you're going to miss it. So select anything and go in here and go to geometry. So under your world outliner, go to geometry select, and you want to click on select matching material. Okay, so because I already have those pieces basically I added a texture to those, so they won't highlight, but anything left basically will be highlighted. And if you start without texturing, then everything will highlight. Okay, so what you want to do is go to alignment and go to align surface planar. What that does is it aligns all of your UV maps perfectly, as you can see, even in this corner. So that's super important if you want texture to line up, and because this part right here, they line up perfectly, and these are two separate pieces right here, but they line up perfectly. So that's the only way you're going to get that to work. Okay, so that's super important, especially for Unreal, to make sure you do your alignment first. Okay, so I wanted to make sure I got that covered. Alright, so watch those videos again. They're pretty helpful if you need it. And then the grading rubric, of course, this is how I'm going to grade you. Okay, so you got to have a Word document. So basically the student turned in a material list of a minimum of 12 different materials. Student turned in screenshots of a completely textured courtyard level with all BSPs textured using substance materials or materials created in Unreal 4. Now I want to highlight this. That means that this is a 4-part series. You're not going to start doing your BSP prototype and then turn in something totally different. No, you're going to be creating this for module 4, like you created your BSP prototype in module 4. You're going to take that and continue working on that through module 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so you're going to be graded on that. So the texturing of the exterior interior of the courtyard environment level followed. You followed the style and theme set by your student, by your mood board, and floor plan from Module 4. That means you're continuing this. Okay, you're not creating something different and now you're going to texture that. You're going to be creating the courtyard environment that you did in Module 4. You're going to be moving that through the phases of Module 4, 5, 6, and 7. Okay, so you're going to be using that same scene. Student texture the interior rooms and exterior environment with appropriate textures that reflect real-world materials. Now, some of you asked me, it really depends on your mood board. What is your style and theme? Some of you asked me, can you do a more stylistic scene? And I'm okay with that, as long as you understand that it doesn't stop at your materials. That means that you're going to have to think about this. You're going to have to say, okay, so if this is going to be stylistic, then everything that I get, everything that I go out and find as far as assets go, because you're going to have to set dress this whole entire thing, and your assets have to reflect that style. You just can't have a stylistic textures and materials. You have to have stylistic furniture, you have to have stylistic assets that complement your scene. Okay? So make sure you think about that, make sure you have all that taken care of. There's a lot of free stuff out there. I mean, you can go to the Unreal Marketplace, you can go to Unity Marketplace. Now I'm not sure how that's going to work, because Unreal Marketplace, basically they make you use Unreal to bring your assets in, so it's hard to, some of you are thinking, well, you have to go to a model bank to get assets that come as FBX and OBJs. They just don't, it doesn't work that way in the marketplace. You have to have Unreal, and it wants to put those assets into your project. So keep that in mind. You're going to turn in at least 16 screenshots from every corner. These are the exact same screenshots that I need from Module 4. So go back to Module 4 if you need to have a visual on what I need, what camera angle that I need. Okay, so I need the exact same thing from you. So the courtyard environment texturing is free of texture errors like stretching, overly large or small textures, obvious seams, and repeating textures. So be careful with this, repeating textures. That's a hard one to get by. Now, you don't have to turn in a walkthrough right now. I'm going to take this out, actually. I don't think you guys are ready for that. I don't think we need to really show that. I'm just looking at your texture. So make sure you're giving me interior screenshots of all four corners, okay, of the interior of the room. Okay, so again, it's right here. All right, you're going to need to have a lot more screenshots, because I'm going to need the minimum of 4 perspective screenshots of every corner and 1 exterior perspective screenshot focus on the outside of the room. Okay, so you'll need at least 5. So this is going to go way beyond 16. Okay, I have no idea. Some of you will have more than 5 rooms. I had 9. So I'll need to have, I would have a lot more screenshots than somebody that had 5 rooms. Now I'm requiring you have up to at least 5 rooms. Okay, so make sure you do deliverables, and then of course I'm going to have some examples for you, because this is a good example of what a good room texture and just basic lighting looks like. Okay, and this is from Module 2. But it's the same thing. We're doing exactly the same thing, but in a larger scale for Module 5. Okay? So that's it. Wish you the best of luck getting everything turned in, and I hope you had a good week. And I'll see you in Module 6. Now, Module 6 is going to be basically creating 4 of your own assets. So the whole week will be designed around you creating original assets, your own work for this project. I don't want you using anything else from any other project. And a lot of you I've already had in my classes, so I know that most of you, some of your work. So make sure that you do original work, and keep in mind that if you get through that pretty quickly, because you'll have to model and texture 4 assets, keep that in mind. So if you get this the material part done really quickly, it doesn't take that long. I think you could probably do in 4 hours, adding all the materials. Okay. Don't forget that you have materials in here. Okay, under your content, right? You have a starter content. Hopefully, you guys added that in there when you were downloading Unreal 4. And it's in your materials folder. So you already have a good start. Now some of these materials won't work, like, some of this stuff is more old medieval type stuff, so not everything will work, but at least you might be able to kind of find some stuff in here. The wood is good, so the wood textures are good. But most of the stuff you're not going to be able to use because it just won't fit your theme, your style, and your theme. So don't use something that's not going to fit your style and theme, because obviously I'm going to be able to see that, and it won't be consistently good throughout your level. You want to be consistent with your materials and stuff like that. So just be careful. That's about it. Again, you got lots of resources out there, and you're going to have to use a lot of those resources that are available to you. The marketplace is the first place I'd start to try to find stuff. And then, of course, model banks. Okay? So that's about it. Have a great week, and I'll see you guys in Module 6.